Hi everyone, I'm Nathan and welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be playing Blue, White, Red Geist. As always, thank you for watching, and if you like what you see here, please consider subscribing. And also, do not hesitate to comment with critiques or suggestions or positive feedback. I appreciate all of it. So before we take a look at today's deck list, let's look at what the online meta looks like right now. We have Blue-Red Delver at the top still, followed by Scapeshift, Melirpod, some other decks, and so we're going to primarily be metagaming against these top 6 decks. Now, something that's important to note, I primarily play in Magic Online in tournaments called two-mans. They're basically just duels, heads-up duels, and you join one, you pay your 2 tickets, you fight your opponent, and if you win a booster pack, which is typically worth 3 tickets. Now, these results do not come from two-mans, they come from daily events. Daily events are held either 3 or 4 times a day. I believe it's at, maybe it's 4. It's like at 7, 1, 7, and then 11, I believe. And 7 a.m., 1 p.m., 7 p.m., and 11, I think. Now, that's just not very convenient for me time-wise all of the time. Plus, you have to set aside a solid 4 hours to be able to play in a daily event because they're in 4 rounds. So they're not the most convenient times, and they take a long time. So, just kind of being married and having a job and a kid and everything, it's easier for me to just play in two-mans as time allows. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Oh, and the reason I mentioned it is because you typically see a lot more burn and Blue-Red Delver. If you watch my Esper Control videos, then you would see out of the 3 games we played, the 3 matches, all we played against was Delver and Burn. So let's keep that in mind when we're taking a look at the sideboard here. So this is what we're going to be running, and I wanted to point out immediately the Steel of the Godhead. I don't want to say it's a joke, but I'm kind of trying it with a laugh. I play in Esper Zur, I play a couple of Steel of the Godhead, but he has more targets. That deck has more targets for it. Plus, Zur the Enchanter is blue and white, so he takes full advantage of Steel of the Godhead. Now, when I was kind of thinking about this, I did think about playing Lightning Angel. I don't think I want to do that, but hear me out on Steel of the Godhead. I think overall, it's probably not good enough. It's a really bad top deck. It requires a creature in play to be good. But that being said, in this version of Blue White Red Geist, we're not running any Vendilion clicks, so we're running the maximum number of Restoration Angels. If you think about it, Restoration Angel isn't necessarily a bad target for Steel of the Godhead right now. There's less green-black decks online, so there's less black removal that can kill Restoration Angel, and there's less white to cast Path to Exile. If we go back and look at the meta real quick, pretty much none of these decks except number 9 here are probably going to be running any Path to Exile. So if they're willing to double a bolt Restoration Angel into Steel of the Godhead, I mean, while not ideal, they're down 2 cards, we're down 2 cards, we're at parity, we're not really putting ourselves in a 2-for-1 situation, which is what you want to avoid with enchantments. Steel of the Godhead is a card that when I've put it on Geist, I don't think I've ever lost one of those games. You gain 4 life, you can basically attack almost, without anybody being able to do anything about it because it also gives it unblockable. So anyway, probably not good enough, but I thought it would be fun to try, and full disclosure, I just kind of want to try it to see if it is, as bad as I'm worried that it might be. Were I not running it, I think I might try bringing in a 5th Battle Skull. I was running Forked Bolt for a while in place of a Path to Exile. I brought the other path back in. I kind of feel like, if we're committed to Geist, which we are, then just having that extra removal spell that can get rid of anything across a variety of matches is something that we want. But I would consider, if we weren't going to run Steel of the Godhead, I would probably run at least 1 Vendilion click. But I might also run another Battle Skull. It kind of depends on your meta, and it's something that I want to test. Now, a quick note on Restoration Angel. The reason I'm cutting Vendilion clicks is I'm not getting that much value against Delver. I guess they're okay against Burn, but, because for every removal spell or every burn spell they send to a creature and not your face, you're just getting ahead there. But the clicks against Burn are just kind of dying. Now, and they're dying, and I'm not getting much damage in, so I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of value out of the spell. Restoration Angel, however, while a bit slower and maybe harder to cast, and against counter magic, is a much more resilient beater in a meta full of lightning bolts because it doesn't die to it. It doesn't die to abrupt decay. Now we said there's less green black, but it bears repeating. So I think Restoration Angel is really good. I think it does a better job, obviously, than Click for saving Geist when you're attacking. Now, there's a lot of things I like about Click. I like Click against green-black because it lets you get rid of Liliana. I like Click against control decks because a lot of times you can... if you have a Click and a Geist of St. Traft in your hand and you're playing against control, then you probably just don't cast Geist. You might just wait, see what they do. If you feel like you need to, you can play it on their draw step, play it at their end step even, which is probably better. I had this conversation with some friends recently against control. But they're either going to have to deal with the Click, which means that they may not be able to counter Geist, or they let it resolve and then kill it, but you still get the triggered ability, and you can take the removal spell that they're going to use, then untap and slam your Geist of St. Traft. So there's not as much control, there's not as much green-black. It's also good against combo decks, and Scape Shift is number 2, but I've been doing some testing and I've been dying to Scape Shift more than I was in the past, and the main reason is actually Pyroclasm. Because there's more Blue-Red Delver, the Scape Shift decks are running more Pyroclasms in their main, 2 or 3. Some of them run them in the board, but there's still just more of them. So Geist is dying a lot more frequently than he was. They had kind of cut them. Some Scape Shift lists were only running an Anger of the Gods main. Some were just running Anger of Gods in the side. But we're kind of getting... Geist is falling victim to some of the hate that's being brought in for Blue-Red Delver, which is why we're running Slaughter games. The way we're fitting this, by the way, is we took out our Mountain. If you notice, we're not running one. It's kind of a pain sometimes, and that might not be the best way to do it. But we brought in a Blood Crypt. Slaughter games cast on turn 4, basically any turn before they can go off on Scape Shift, means there's really nothing that the Scape Shift player can do about it. I've tested it online. It's been ridiculous, actually. They can do nothing about it. You take their Scape Shifts from everywhere, and they're just kind of then forced to play Fair Magic. It really is kind of backbreaking against that deck. But before I get into the sideboard, actually, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. This is the deck. We have the Steel of the Godhead. We already talked about what we'd run in place of that. We're going to try 3 Dig Through Times. That might be too many. But Dig Through Time is so powerful, and I feel like it's a spell I want to see every game. So again, 3 might be too much. If it is, we're going to cut one of those. We'd cut the Steel of the Godhead, which means that we can run another Electrolyze and a Batter Skull, or another Vendilion Click or a Batter Skull, or 2 Vendilion Clicks. Yeah, that's where we kind of have a bunch of flexibility there. Now, as far as the sideboard goes, so starting off, Blue-Red Delver. Our plan right now is, I'd run Volcanic Fallout against Blue-Red Delver, and the reason I don't have it right now is it's not that it's not good, but because they run Gitaxian Probe, what's actually happened is I have been unable to get much advantage from Volcanic Fallout. I just end up killing one thing and take 2. They take 2 obviously as well, but I feel like it's, if I'm only going to kill one thing, I don't know if I want to be paying 3 to kill a Delver of Secrets. Like I said, what happens is they see it with Gitaxian Probe, and then they just play around it. So the good players, at least, they're not really overextending into it, and I'm finding it difficult to get value out of Volcanic Fallout. Plus, it's really not good against Monastery Swiftspear. If they just don't do anything, and then if you wait till you go to blocks, then they get priority and don't do anything. If you then cast your Volcanic Fallout, all it takes is like 1 Lightning Bolt, and it doesn't actually kill their Monastery Swiftspear. So kind of not good against that either. I actually did toy around with the idea of playing Sudden Shock, and I'll pull that up for you guys to see. Sudden Shock is interesting because it can't be countered, and they also can't respond. Like if you go use Sudden Shock to kill a Young Pyromancer, they can't respond. They cannot respond with any counter magic to they can't respond with any counter magic to trigger Young Pyromancer. So I don't know if this is right, but it's definitely interesting and something to think about. Maybe you guys can test it and let me know how it works for you. Okay, so this is what we're gonna run. I'm actually almost tempted to just drop the Combust and run more core Firewalkers, because I feel like we're gonna play against a bunch of burn, and maybe we'll just do that and just hope to lean on our removal spells if we happen to face twin our other removal spells. Now, core Firewalker, I've heard, I haven't actually tested this, but a lot of people bring him in against Blue Red Delver because it blocks all the tokens and you gain a little bit of life on him from your opponent as well as your own spells. Something that I think it's Rest that I've been testing is Rest for the Weary. Somebody on my channel actually mentioned this, and I kind of looked at it and said, it seems okay, and then I forgot about it, and then my buddy Scott said, hey, Rest for the Weary is really good, and I tested it, and against burn, it's really good. You gain 8 life. But core Firewalker might be a better option for a card that's good against Delver and burn. Interestingly enough, Rest for the Weary is actually not bad against Scapeshift either. You crack a land, gain 8. Now, you know, let's assume you're at 19. You're at 27. They can't kill you. They'd have to have a ton of lands to kill you at 27. And if you cast another one or snap it back, you know, at that point, Scapeshift's going to be hard pressed to do enough damage with their combo to knock you out of the game. So, you know, maybe instead of this little Slaughter Games trick that we're trying, maybe we just want to bring in Rest for the Wearies and try to cast them against Scapeshift so that they actually can't Scapeshift us out. Anyway, interesting thoughts. This is what we're going to try. I think you guys know what the sideboard options are. Core Firewalker is for burn. Our Magma Sprays, we're going to bring that in against Delver. We may even consider taking out our Lightning Helixes, because Lightning Helix dies more easily to Spell Snare and Spell Pierce. Wear Tear for Boggles, also the Celestial Flares. Wear Tear also for Affinity. We have the Shatterstorm for Affinity. The Slaughter Games are for Scapeshift. The Aven Mind Sensors are for Scapeshift, Tron, which you probably won't see. And then also Birthing Pod along with the Magma Sprays are also for Birthing Pod. Okay, so that's what we're going to run. Let's jump into a game. So we have our constructed tournament here. Blue, white, red, Geist. We'll go ahead and jump in and wait for an opponent. Actually, I'm going to leave really quick. I just want to make sure everything looks okay with the deck. Blue, white, red, Geist, right? Blue, white, red, Geist. This is what we're talking about. All right, cool. Okay, so let's go back to the play lobby, pay our 2 tickets, and wait for an opponent. Hopefully we won't have to wait very long. I know that I've said this in other videos. I wish I could pause this. I could probably just stop recording and then go back and figure out how to join the videos, but I don't think that that is as easy as splitting them, which I've done before. So we're just going to let it roll and fill the space with idle talking. You guys might notice that I sound better. I actually got rid of this pop filter. Well, I got rid of this, which is, it's called the ringer, and this microphone goes in it, and it kind of like sits in this little thing so that no shocks from the table go up in to hear it. But it was behind my monitors, and I was kind of too far away. I noticed the most when I had Curtis on, and our volumes were so much different. So hopefully it sounds better. I'm sure that it does. Okay, so we're on the play. We always like that. Let me actually, before we get started here, let me bring the game log down for you guys to be able to monitor as you wish. Let's bring this over. Let's see. All right, that's probably good enough. Okay, so we got that guy in there. Yes, we'll play first. Let's take a look at our opener. Not very good, actually. You know, if we had one more actual spell, I might keep this hand. But our deck runs 25 lands. we're going to draw more lands. I feel like we're just going to be really light on action. So unfortunately, we're going to take a mulligan. This hand is better. We have our Steam Vents, so we're going to lead with Scalding Tarn and get most likely a Hollowed Fountain. Let's take a look at the list really quick. Is there any reason that we'd want to get a Sacred Foundry for double red? I don't think so. No, I think we're fine probably to get the Hollowed Fountain. Oops, let me go back to the game here. All right, so we're going to keep this one. We're going to lead with the Scalding Tarn, just like we talked about. Get a Hollowed Fountain. That'll give us access to all of our colors. Follow it up with a Steam Vents. Hopefully we'll draw into a burn spell or something. Okay, so we're going to be playing against Affinity. I don't know if these promo Memnites are expensive, but if they are, maybe that means that our opponent is quite proficient with the deck. Man, turn 1 Cranial Plating. Guys, this is not looking good for us. Well, let's go ahead and fetch up that Hollowed Fountain. You know, we have our path up. I want to minimize the damage we take. I'm not going to bluff anything. I'm just going to play the Steam Vents untapped and pass. Let's take a quick pause at his upkeep. We don't want to path anything now. He can make 1 black. What we're really curious about is, can he make double black to move Cranial Plating at instant speed? Right now he cannot. So let's see. Chalice of the Void on 1. I have to admit, I didn't expect that. That's really terrible. That makes our paths completely dead. It makes a lot of things really dead in our deck. That's quite unfortunate. Well, obviously we need to pass something in response to this to hope to get any value. I'm gonna assume our opponent has a land and just hasn't played it. Maybe they haven't. Let's assume our opponent doesn't have a land. Then he can't equip Cranial Plating. So let's path the Memnite. Then again, the Ornithopter flies, so maybe that's worse. We do have Restoration Angels. Let's path the Memnite. Hope he doesn't have a land. And cannot equip Cranial Plating. And maybe we'll save ourselves a tiny point of damage here. Okay, so Chalice is going to resolve. So he did have the land. He is going to go ahead and equip Cranial Plating, and we're going to be taking 6 here. The Bolt is totally dead. We're just going to play our Geist. Let's see, our wow. Well, this game is basically over. So this is going to be 12. I mean, I don't even, personally, I do not see a real point here to, I mean, we might as well block. I mean, we're not going to kill him all of a sudden. So I guess we can block the Memnite. We'll take 1 less point of damage, I think, overall. Or maybe not. I'm not sure how that works as far as, like, there was an artifact. We'll see. It's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so maybe we'll be at... Okay, so we did take 2 less points of damage. Well, we cannot snap path and block anything. You know, if he didn't have Chalice, we could go Snapcaster Mage, path the Ornithopter, block Master of Ethereum. We'd still die, though, I think, too. I mean, there's really no point in talking about what we could do, because we can't do it. So we're going to concede. That was a pretty fast game. We're going to bring in our Shatterstorm. We're going to bring in our Wear Tear. Remands are really, really, really terrible against Affinity, so we're going to bring in our couple of Magma Sprays here. And, you know, I do not think that Celestial Flare is any good. Still, the Godhead is kind of interesting because it gains life. I mean, in theory, if we have it and Geist, we do have the potential to just gain, put it on Geist of Saint Traft and attack. I don't necessarily think that the Geists are great. But I think Batterskull is our slowest card. It does gain its life, but like I said, it's our slowest card, so we're going to take that out. And really hope that we draw a Shatterstorm. Let's see, Steal the Godhead or Batterskull. I mean, Steal the Godhead's not very good on its own. It may be difficult to actually get a creature resolved if we're using removal in the beginning. Maybe Batterskull's just a better follow-up play. Yeah, I like Batterskull better because it could potentially at least block something if we have to cast it. Steal the Godhead is meh. Okay, so that's what we're going to try. Yeah, we'll play first. So we have Wear Tear, a Bolt as a very keepable hand against Affinity. We're going to keep. We're going to lead with a Flooded Strand and probably get a Steam Vents and then play our Plains. We could also just play a Steam Vents untapped and take 2. But that would actually give us the opportunity to bolt something and then untap and have Wear up. I guess there's also the possibility that he's not play a target that we want to bolt. So let's go with the life preservation strategy. I mean, I guess if we really if you play something that we feel like we have to kill right away, we can take an additional point to do it and then have Wear up the following turn. Vault Scourge. Yeah, so I'm fine to actually just get a Steam Vents and then bolt it on the next turn. We are going to bolt a Vault Scourge. It's not the scariest of targets necessarily, but it I don't think we have to do it on our turn though. I think we can just wait. I was going to say it's not the scariest of targets, but it does what I'm trying to say here, it does make racing a little bit more difficult because they can gain life, they can gain a ton of life, and if they can put a Cranial Plating on it. And if he just attacks with Vault Scourge and does nothing, I think I'm kind of fine to just take 1 point of damage. He's not even going to attack. It's probably going to be a... Okay, so Arcbound Ravager. I definitely... Okay, so we could either bolt... I think we bolt over Wear Tear here. Let's see if we bolt Arcbound Ravager. If he doesn't have enough artifacts to sack, so then he'll have to put... he'll sack it to itself and probably put the counter on Vault Scourge, I guess. Arcbound Ravager is definitely one really terrible card. So he doesn't have enough artifacts to sack to save it, and he wouldn't want to do that this early in the game anyway, so he's going to sack it to itself, and then put the 1 counter on Vault Scourge most likely. Yep, targeting Vault Scourge. So our plays are, so we have 2 cards in the graveyard, so we're not anywhere near casting a Dig Through Time yet. I think I'm just going to play the Steam Vents tapped here. Actually, no, I think I'll I'll play the Scalding Tarn, and let's see. We don't think we actually need to. I think we can play the Steam Vents and then follow it up with the Desolate Lighthouse and probably save some life points. So let's do that. Does it make sense to do we can destroy Vault Scourge? But we're not going to do that. If he attacks us with Vault Scourge for 2, we're kind of fine with that at this point. What we really would like to use this Wear Tear on would be, I mean, if we have to use it on a what's the word? That Chalice of the Void, we can. It'd be less than ideal, but what we really want to use it on is like a Cranioplating. Yeah. I mean, it would have been like grossly incorrect to. So our opponent, I mean, we're going to try to blow up the plating, but I was going to say we're going to wait till after he taps his Vault Scourge, and the reason is he now cannot use Springleaf Drum to tap Vault Scourge to play a Spell Pierce, which he may not have had it at all, but better to make sure that he cannot do that. There's no reason to play into it. Okay, so now we can block with our Restoration Angel, and we're actually we are one more fetch land into the graveyard from being able to cast the Dig Through Time. Alright, so we'll go ahead and cast our Restoration Angel and block Vault Scourge. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand. He's got a Master of Ethereum who's not very strong. I think we're just going to probably kill it right now anyway. Let's see. Well, let's go ahead and get our attacks out of the way. Okay, so we're going to Helix Master of Ethereum, and if we, that'll give us 2 mana up. So even if he tries to tap it for a Spell Pierce, we could pay for the Spell Pierce. So we're all right. We're just doing this, and I highly doubt that he's going to be able to suddenly blow us out with either of his Nexuses. I just don't think he has enough in play. Now, we could save a life point by playing the Celestial Colonnade, but playing the Scalding Tarn means that we can get 1 more fetch land into the graveyard, which will allow us to then dig for 3. Which, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so actually we can dig through time at the end of this turn, which is great. So interestingly, let's say this dig through time right now, we did run 3. It could kind of be anything else. So I feel like we kind of more or less have this game locked up at this point. We'll get an island, and we're going to take digging. Exile this blue or colorless blue. All right. So what do we see? Electrolyze is really quite good. I think we want to take a Restoration Angel and a removal spell. I think Bolt is probably. I think Bolt's probably fine. Or maybe we just want to. Actually, no. I think this. I'm trying to decide. Like, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands in play, so we can activate a Colonnade after this. So I think actually maybe we can just take a. We can take a. Electrolyze does replace itself. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we could actually just untap Electrolyze Master of Ethereum. We can pay for a Spell Pierce, and then we could take a Snapcaster Mage. But maybe we just want to get like a Bolt. Yeah, I think actually we just want to get a Bolt and a Snap, Bolt Master of Ethereum next turn, Then we can also play a Restoration Angel end of his next turn, and then attack with Restoration, and Colonnade. I think that's better. So we're going to take a Bolt, we're going to take a Restoration Angel, put this other stuff on the bottom. Okay. So we don't have to, we drew another removal spell, so that's great. So we're just going to do this now. There's really no way I think you can interact with it. We'll play our Colonnade, we'll attack with our Restoration Angel. And we're kind of like sequencing stuff out of order now because I don't think it matters as much. I mean, Etched Champion is great. It's not as great without a cranial plating, which would be, I would be sad if this was a cranial plating. It is. Maybe that's okay though. Let's see. He has 1, 2, 3 artifacts. If he activates, let's see, 1, 2, 3. If he activates both nexuses, that's 4, 5. So that's 7 damage, which would put us to 12. And next turn we can deal 6, 10. So I think we're just gonna win this race. So we're going to Restoration Angel. Helix is good. He's got no cards in hand, so we're in no danger of getting blown out here. We're just going to activate. Oh, I didn't mention the Desolate Lighthouse. I do feel like it could be good in power up, dig through time, and grindy matchups. Anyway, we're going to move to attacks. So this will be 7, 8, 9. Let's see. Darksteel Citadel to activate an Inkmoth Nexus. Climber Void to activate another Nexus. We take 9, go to 10, and then we'll return the favor and kill him. We could have pathed him M9 and save 1 point of damage, but it doesn't matter. So let's see. Blue, boom, boom. So, actually, he can block. He can actually activate the Nexuses and block an Angel. Let's see. So he's activated 1, and then I guess let's see. We have priority. So, I think we're actually still fine. See if so he activated. I'm trying to get the priority straight. Like, we don't necessarily, I think we have to do something now, which he can then activate in response. So if he just blocks the Colonnade, which he's only activated 1 Inkmoth Nexus, we're just going to Helix him. Okay, so let's see. Does he activate another one? If he just blocks with 1 Inkmoth Nexus, then we can Lightning Helix him for lethal. I should have seen this. I didn't actually consider this him blocking. That was why he didn't activate them. And then it just kind of was like maybe getting overzealous and wanting to hurry up and untap and attack and kill him. So he is going to animate both. But what exactly did he do there? Maybe I don't know why it's tapped. I guess I'm not sure about that. So I guess he's not blocking anything with that. So we're just going to Helix him for lethal. Oh, he has no creatures to tap for mana, just one colorless, so we'll just do it now. And then this should be it. All right. So maybe the other Nexus, I didn't see. I'd have to go back and watch the video. But did he tap it to activate the Inkmoth Nexus and then realize that he couldn't activate it to block? Is that what he did? I don't remember seeing that when I was looking to see if he was going to activate, but maybe I was just missing it. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Yeah, we're just going to run the same configuration here. So we'll submit, and hopefully we can win this game too. We have a Wear Tear, we have a Bull, we have all, yeah, we're keeping this. There's lots of removal here, and then potentially a Dig Through Time to fuel up. My daughter's motioning to me. I'm not sure what she's trying to say. She's like, go away, go away. She's 13, so, you know, she's at that age where everything's embarrassing. Okay, back to business here. Mulligan a 6 card. Oh, no, we're keeping this hand. This hand's great. What are we talking about? Depending upon how explosive his turn 1 play is. Oh, you know what? We can't fetch up a mountain because of our little Blood Crypt trick. I was going to say maybe we just want to fetch a mountain instead of Colonnade, but if his hand's not that explosive, then, which it doesn't look like it is, I'm going to get this Colonnade out of the way, which means we're going to take some damage, but I think it's okay. We're probably going to have to take some damage off of this Arid Mesa anyway. I don't know if he is actually playing he only has 2 cards. I'm just gonna path it. I mean, nothing like, I don't know if he could potentially spell pierce this next turn or not. But he has 2 cards, so if I give him a land now, like, everything in his deck is should cheap anyway. I don't know that it's that big of a deal. So we'll just path Spellskite and then pass the turn and see what he does. And if we have to shock ourselves to get this Blood Crypt, no, we're not going to get the Blood Crypt, but to get like a Steam Vents in play, or maybe a Sacred Foundry might be better actually, considering like we have a bunch of red and white spells. Then we have to, but let's see what he actually plays here. I'm gonna take 1 because we're gonna either, I'd rather take 1 than take 3 off of a fetch and a shock. And then I'm gonna get that Sacred Foundry. Untap. Electrolyze is good. It's really good. Actually, let's see. Sure. So it's some kind of cheesecake. All right, so we're gonna blow up the plating, and I guess we'll pat the Vault Scourge. Do we even... I mean, it's just one. Do we even... Maybe we don't even worry about it yet. Maybe we... Let's see if we can get some... I'm going to take the one in the hopes that... The extra one in the hopes that we can get some additional value out of our Electrolyze. Let's see, we'll just pass back here. Opponent still has 2 cards. He's not playing them. If he doesn't play anything, kind of making... Okay, so that's good. Okay, so this is going to be really good for us. Our opponent has no cards. I think we're just gonna kill the Vault Scourge and the Signal Pest, and then we'll untap and kill Still Overseer. And we drew a Geist. Now it'd be really great to draw a land. Sweet. All right. So we're gonna play Geist and we're gonna bolt Steel Overseer. We do not want him activating that. And then I think we're gonna be in really good shape. I guess he's going to have to keep Etch Champion back on blocking duty. Alright, so I don't really... Let's see. He just barely has 3 artifacts in play. If we kill his Ornithopter... curious here. How can we... I think we can play this to our advantage somehow. So if we attack with Geist of St. Traft and let him block with Etch Champion, then after he blocks, we can kill Ornithopter. He won't have Metalcraft. He could then activate Inkmoth Nexus to give himself Metalcraft, but we could then path it, which means our Geist... Let's see. Yeah, that means then we could path it. So we have enough mana to do all this. Let's see. Lightning Helix, Ornithopter. Path. You know what we'd actually probably want to do is just, in response to him activating the Inkmoth Nexus, then we just path the Etch Champion. So I think we can do this in our favor. So we'll attack with Geist here. Okay, so the block has been made. So we're going to crack this Arid Mesa. We'll get a Plains. And actually, we have Ghost Quarter if he did activate that other thing. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I'm counting. Darksteel 1, 2. Oh, no, actually, I just miscounted. That's actually not enough. Darksteel Citadel is an artifact. So maybe this wasn't the best line, actually, because we cannot... Oh, no. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's got 4 artifacts in play, so killing an Ornithopter does not turn off Metalcraft. I think it's 3, right? We would actually have to kill the Mox Opal as well. So this is kind of not the greatest, actually, because this is our clock. I'm dumb and I didn't count Darksteel Citadel. Let me think for a moment. So he's made the block. He'll take 4. He really probably did not want this to go this way. I think we're going to save our burn spells for his face, actually. But let's see, we could also just, we could dig. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just a little miscount on my part. Well, let's pass the turn back, and what we're gonna do is we'll dig through time, and we may just send a lightning helix at his face. Let's see, 11 divided by, so it's gonna take regenerate target artifact. I mean, that's fine. Our primary removal right now is Path to Exile. Yeah, so we'll dig 2. And now we'll dig. Let's see, what do we want to try to keep in here actually if we find a snap? Probably the Path and the Wear Tear, although he does have that Welding Jar, so maybe we don't care about the Wear Tear actually. It doesn't matter. We'll keep the Wear Tear, and we'll do this. Let's see. We have another Wear Tear. Oh, into Batter Skull. Well, we're going to take the Batter Skull for sure. And let's see. We take Batter Skull. We play Batter Skull. He still can swing past it, but that's going to help us gain some life. We have 2 removal spells. I don't necessarily know that we need another Wear Tear. We could... It's like we have a Snapcaster Mage at present for the one in the graveyard. I kind of almost tempted to just take the Helix and gain have some more ways to gain life. We do have one. Maybe just the Electrolyze is fine. I'll take the Helix. Okay, and then end of turn, we're going to Helix him. Geist. We're still going to play the Batter Skull. I don't know. Maybe that attack with Geist wasn't terrible. It's not like Geist can block him, and he ended up playing a Welding Jar, so it'd be really difficult to remove enough artifacts to be able to kill him, or it'd be really difficult to. It's gonna be really hard to kill enough artifacts to turn off Metalcraft to make Etched Champion not have protection. So. So he can kind of block eternally here. We really need to get this on a flying thing. We should be nice to find a Restoration Angel. Let's see. We're gonna play. See, we'll attack. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna attack anyway though, and then we're gonna play Geist, and then we're gonna keep up Helix. He didn't block. That seems a little strange. He could have just blocked the Germ, and the Germ couldn't have dealt any damage to the Etched Champion. We're going to play Geist, have Helix or Path up, and then we're going to be able to we could put the Batter Skull onto Geist to Saint Traft, then Geist won't die to Etched Champion, and he'll take 4 from the Angel. Now that's actually could potentially be quite the good draw for him. He's going to be able to sack all of these things and put them on Edge Champion. We do have this Lightning Helix to put us up to 19, so I really doubt that he's going to be able to do enough to us. Or actually, he could put them on Inkmoth Nexus, though, and we do have a Path to Exile for that. So let's see what he attacks with here. So life-wise, I think we're fine. If he puts them on Inkmoth Nexus, I think we could potentially die, but... he is the active player, so when we get to when he gets priority in the blockers phase, if he's going to do anything, he'll have to do it then. Okay, so he actually elected not to do anything. See, I think we can... if we pass Inkmoth Nexus, he's going to just let it happen. And then we can untap and path Arcbound Ravager. He'll put all of the tokens likely on the Etched Champion. Let's try that. Snap is going to be pretty good, I think. Wish we had another red source, because we could Helix, Snap, Helix again. See, Helix, Snap. Yeah, but we don't. I think we just attack. So if he blocks... if we put 1, 2, 3, yeah, we don't want to put Batterskull on, guys, but I think we just attack with both things. Let's see. If we get rid of the Ornithopter and he takes 4 from the Angel, let's see see, right now he can block the Angel, he won't take anything. If we get rid of the Ornithopter, we'd have to do it with the Path to Exile because of this Welding Jar. He's going to definitely take 4. So we could have also attacked with Celestial Colonnade, declared the attack, and then had 1 path up, and then we could have gotten in for like a guaranteed 8, but he still wouldn't be dead. 1, 2. So even if he sacks everything, let's say he sacks everything and puts it on Arcbound Ravager. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think we're gonna die. But I do think it might. I do kind of think it might make sense to just Path to Exile this Ornithopter so we can get in with that damage. That's what my gut says. He's going to sack that to Arcbound Ravager. So we could actually go Snapcaster Mage, Path to Exile, Arcbound Ravager. Then he has to sack it, which means that we get in for... yeah, that means he only has 1 blocker up. I think that's actually the best thing to do. If we Path Arcbound Ravager, then he has to... let's see. Do we want that Ghost Quarter up? I don't think so. I think we're okay. We have the Helix... yeah, so I think we do Snap here. get the path the Arcbound Ravager, and then we can get in for more with more guys. So even if he blocks, like, let's see. So I think we go like this. So if he blocks Geist, he's dead. If he blocks the Batter Skull with Etch Champion, so he's just gonna sort of go all in now, I guess. He's gonna take 6, and then we'll be able to put him at 9. I did a lot of thinking there. We'll be able to put him at 9, which doesn't kill him, but I don't think he can kill us either, and I think he's just dead next turn. Oh, so he's actually just dead. Whew. I don't know if that first attack with Geist was correct or not, now that I think about it, but oh man, playing against Affinity is never easy. I'm sure you guys are like going to be watching this video and be like, what do you mean that was complicated? That was so easy. All you had to do was do this, and you just got there, and it was just plain as day. But that's not how I felt. It was much more complicated for me. Maybe I'm just not a smart man. But anyway, okay. So that was. I'm glad we won there. It's 8:30. My wife. I'm not sure exactly when my wife is coming home. She had to go watch a movie for work at some colleague's house. So I'm gonna stop here, check in with her, see what my daughter's up to, and then I might record another one. So before I do go, actually, let's take a look at this list. We didn't use Steel of the Godhead at all. Batter Skull was pretty good. Obviously, everything else was good. For the record, I'm glad that we had all of the paths, I think, instead of the one forked bolt. We needed paths in that matchup. The damage removal base spells weren't going to get it done when we needed it with the artifact that gave them regeneration, so that was good. Electrolyze was awesome in that matchup. Dig Through Time was great. We didn't really have any troubles casting it when we needed it that I can remember. You know, again, I don't really know how good this is. I kind of want it to be a Batter Skull because I liked when we had sort of like, I liked when the deck had a Karanos and a Batter Skull, or a Karanos and a Thundermail Hellkite. I liked those sort of really kind of game-winning level cards in the deck, and I liked having 2 of them because sometimes you got more than one into play, but you were always sort of guaranteed to get one. Maybe we don't need to with 3 Dig Through Times though, because we like you saw there, we found it with our Dig Through Time, and maybe we can make this Steel of the Godhead so we don't run at the 1 Vendilion click. That way we're not going too low on creatures. Anyway, oh, that is one thing to mention. So previously we had 4 Geist of St. Traft, 3 clicks, which was 10 creatures. Then we had 3 Restoration Angels, which made 13. And then if we had a Batter Skull and a Thundermail Hellkite, that made 15. So we're kind of, you know, running we were running a lower creature count than we were before. I guess technically we have 13. So, you know, maybe that's fine. But like I said, maybe bringing the Steel of the Godhead in, or getting rid of that and bringing the Vendilion click is what we need to do. Anyway, okay, that match is down. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm going to go do those things that I'm going to do. If you like my videos and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, if you haven't already done so, there's a few days left. Go watch, I think it's MTG blog or video blog number 3. And you can find out how you can win a free pack of Cons of Tarkir. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.